yes. I really like the way you dance, Paul. No, I mean it. And, I figure we get this one more try. Now, tell me, for one thing, if you're going to change your name, why go from a Puerto Rican name to an Italian one?
And look at... People say, you don't look Puerto Rican, you don't look Puerto Rican. But I am.
So you figured you looked Italian?
No, I just wanted to be somebody new, so I became Paul San Marco.
Why'd you want to become somebody new?
Why? I'm not exactly proud of my past.
Who is? But that's what the word means, Paul. Past.
It might be easy for you to say, but...
Wait a minute. What made you start dancing? Your parents?
No. What do Puerto Ricans know about theater? Now they have Channel 47, but... Well, then they didn't have anything. My father, loved movies. He would take us all the time. He worked nights, and he'd come home and he'd take us to 42nd Street, and we would come out of one movie, and we would go to another and another movie. I don't know why, I just love musicals.
How old were you?
7 or 8.
On 42nd Street?
Yeah, it was a trip.
Go on.
I'd have to move down front because I couldn't see. I wear contact lenses now. I'd move down front, and these strange men would come in and they'd sit beside me and play with me. I never told anyone because, well, I guess it didn't matter.
Why didn't it matter?
Why?
Look, Paul, this is rough. You don't have to say anything more because I haven't...
No. Okay. From seeing all those movie musicals, I used to dance around on the street, and I would get caught all the time. God, it was so embarrassing. I was always being Sid Charisse. Always. Which I don't really understand because, you see, I always wanted to be an actor. I mean, I really wanted to perform. And once my cousin said to me, "You'll never be an actor." And I knew that she was telling me this because I was such a sissy. I was terribly effeminate. Oh, I always knew I was gay, but that didn't bother me. What bothered me was I didn't know how to be a boy. And one day I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, "You are 14 years old and you're a faggot. Now what are you going to do with your life?" By that time, I was in Cardinal Hayes High School. Well, there were 3,000 boys there. I had no protection anymore, no homeroom where I could be charming and funny with the tough guys so that they'd fight my battles for me. Like when I went to small schools. I liked school, but my grades got so bad. I mean, even if I knew the answers to questions, I wouldn't raise my hand because I'd be afraid that they'd laugh at me. They'd even whistle in the hall. It was awful, just awful. And finally, I went to the principal's office and I said, "I am a homosexual." Well, it was a Catholic high school at around 1962. Well, at the age of 15, you just didn't say that. And they said to me, "Would you like to see a psychologist?" And I did. And he said, "I think you're very well adjusted for your age, and I think you should quit school." So I did. But I didn't really want to. I couldn't take it anymore. You see, when I quit, what I was doing was I was trying to find out who I was and how to be a man. I mean, you know, there are a lot of people in this world who don't know how to be men. And since then, I found out that I am one. I was looking for the wrong thing. I was trying to learn how to be butch. Anyway, I started hanging around 72nd Street, meeting all these really strange people. Just trying to make friends that were like me so I could understand what it was that I was. And somebody told me that they were looking for male dancers for the Jukebox Review. You know, the drag show. So I went out to audition. Now, from all those years pretending to be Sid Charisse, I had this fabulous extension. I mean, I could turn anything, my first audition. And they said to me, "You're too short to be a boy. Would you like to be a pony?" And I said, "Well, what's that?" And they said, "A girl." And I said, "Well, what do I have to do?" And they said, "Show us your legs." But I had hair on my legs. It's okay, just come on upstairs. So I went. Well, they hiked up my dungarees and they put on a pair of nylon stockings and high heels. I mean, it was so freaky. So incredible. And then they brought me back downstairs and they said, "Oh, you have wonderful legs." And I said, "Oh, really? Terrific." You know, it's so strange thinking about all of this. I mean, it was a whole lifetime ago. I was just past 16. Well, then there was this thing of me trying to hide it from my parents. Now, that was something. I mean, because I had to buy all this stuff, you know, like shoes to rehearse in, earrings, makeup. And I would hide it all, and my mother would find it. I told her that there was this girl in the show who didn't want her mother to know what she was doing, and I was holding the stuff for her. She believed me. Well, I was finally in show business. It was the asshole of show business, but it was a job. Nothing to brag about. I had friends. But after a while, it was just so demeaning. You see, nobody at the jewel box had any dignity. Most of them were ashamed of themselves and considered themselves freaks. And I think it was the lack of dignity that got to me, so I left. Oh, I mumbled around for a while. I worked as an office boy, a waiter. But without an education, you can't get a good job. So when the jukebox called and asked if I would come back, I went. Anyway, we were working the Apollo Theater now on 125th Street, doing 4 shows a day with the movie. I mean, it was really tacky. Well, the show was going to go to Chicago, and my parents wanted to say goodbye, and they were going to bring my luggage to the theater after the show. But we were doing this Oriental number, and I looked like Anime Wong. I mean, I had these 2 great big chrysanthemums on either side of my head, with this huge headdress with these gold balls hanging all over it. And I was going on for the finale and going down the stairs, and who should I see standing at the stage entrance? My parents. They got there too early. I freaked. I didn't know what to do. And I thought to myself, I know, I'll just walk quickly past them like the others and they'll never recognize me. So I took a deep breath and I started down the stairs, and just as I passed my mother, I heard her say, "Oh my God." Well, I died. But what could I do? I had to go on and do the finale, so I just kept going. After the show, I went back to my dressing room, and after I'd finished dressing and taking my makeup off, I went back downstairs. There they were, standing in the middle of all these. All they said to me was, "Please write. And make sure you eat and take care of yourself." And just before my parents left, my father turned to the producer and he said, "Take care of my son." That was the first time that he ever called me that.